So this bipartisan fast track, Congress ceding constitutional power to the president, deception needs to be blocked before it is carried out. Joining me now from Washington, D.C., manager of the Thematic Growth Portfolio and editor of the Growth and Dividend Report, Chris Versace. Chris, I know you're a business guy, but I want to kind of throw you into a constitutional arena, if I can, for a minute. I say this about the trade agreement. If the framers of the Constitution wanted to give the President of the United States fast-track trade authority, I think they would have put it in the founding document.
Well, Grant, thanks for having me on, and I have to agree 100% with you. Particularly after that disaster that was Obamacare passed, at the last minute, with more pages than anybody could, read, let alone carry. We need to understand the bill of goods that we're, supposedly agreeing to, so we can understand what the ramifications are on business, on policy, not simply give the president some, forget what everybody else has to say. I know better than everyone type of power. We've been through that. We don't need it again.
Absolutely, especially with this president. And it also, by the way, changes immigration policy. The L-1 visas, which currently are 7 years in length, if you look at that document, it alters the L-1 visas. And so under years, there's an X. In other words, they're going to fill in the blank. And who's going to fill in the blank? Oh, well, I guess it would be the President of the United States. Do we want to do that? Do we trust this president? I, for one, don't. And then we have the issue of the EXIM Bank, the Import-Export Bank. My opinion, I'll give you in a minute. What's yours?
Well, if we look at the Import-Export Bank, what was it designed to do back in the 1930s? It was supposed to help small business expand internationally. Well, the real question is it really helping small business? And the answer is no. If there was some way to overhaul the Import-Export Bank, before it expires at the end of the month, that would be one thing. But if we don't, Graham, and it continues to serve big companies, it's just more cronyism, and we don't need any more of that.
I say let it expire. Forget about it. It served its purpose more than enough. I think that companies like Boeing can find financing for themselves and for their clients somewhere in the free market. Now, in this country, industrial production, not looking so good right now?
No, over the last 5 months, we've seen nothing but month-over-month declines in industrial production. So, when we look at industrial production, it's the lifeblood, the bead, if you will, on the industrial manufacturing economy. But, if we look outside of that, we look for other indicators to see how this supposed snapback is, occurring and unfolding after that horrible first quarter. I got to tell you, we're not seeing signs that the second quarter is really robust either. We can look at rail traffic, truck traffic, orders for new trucks. It's all been declining. And to me, it simply says we had a brief snapback in April. May is weaker. June is not much better for rails. I don't see a huge, vibrant snapback unfolding in this quarter.
Okay, now when you talk about trucks and truck sales, this is an indicator, is it not? And we're talking big rigs, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a number of industries that correlate to the trends in industrial production, whether it's, trucks like the big Class 8s or heavy-duty trucks you see screaming down the roads, rail traffic, because think about it, in order for companies to, manufacture stuff, they have to get parts and equipment. In order for consumers like you and I to go buy stuff has to get to the distribution points and then to the retail stores. So if all that traffic is low, it says that we're not really manufacturing and consumers are not really spending.
Big business CEOs, you couple the information you're giving with the big business CEOs out this week, a survey saying that, hey, they're not going to be doing a heck of a lot of hiring, and apparently they're going to be sitting on their bank accounts as well. That's not a good indicator, is it?
No, not at all. If anything, expectations from the beginning of the year were a lot more robust. We had this obvious first quarter winter weather, but this strong dollar, Graham, is continuing to sap companies, and I think they're a little hesitant. They're not going to spend, increase capacity, hire more people amid uncertainty. And I think that is a real problem that's going to weigh on the economy in the back half of the year.
Poultry industry is having trouble right now with this avian flu situation.
Yeah, most people tend to think of chicken and turkeys when they hear about the avian flu, and it is knocking the stuffing out of the Midwest. But in this case in particular, it's really hitting the egg industry. About 10% of egg-laying hens have been destroyed or will be destroyed. And we're starting to see companies like Whataburger and others, Nestle, Post Foods, warn about the impact of higher eggs on their business. And if you think about it, eggs are in not just breakfast food, but they're in pharmaceuticals and a whole host of other things. That means prices are going to rise, and wait till consumers freak out at the price of a dozen eggs.
Yeah, and the cost of an omelet. Chris, thanks.